Morning everybody, here I am sitting outside on a beautiful Saturday morning at St Mary's, about to talk about some rather challenging things really, because there's a line near the end of tomorrow's Gospel reading, which is from Luke chapter 9, which would have shocked and in fact outraged probably all of Jesus's Jewish contemporaries and probably many non-Jews, Gentiles that is, as well. He's on the road walking to Jerusalem, and we know what's going to happen to him at Jerusalem, and three people come up to him, and the first one says, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus says to him, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. In other words, are you willing to rough it if you're going to follow me? The second man comes up to him and says, or Jesus says to him, follow me. But the man says, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. And Jesus replies, let the dead bury their own dead, but as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Now, we might pass over that line and think, oh, it's a bit odd, but that would have horrified many of Jesus' contemporaries. The obligation of burying your father was considered one of the most sacred and binding duties on a son. Think about the fourth commandment of the 10 commandments, honour thy father and mother, etc. But you can see for Jesus, even doing something like that comes a long, long second to following him and announcing that God's kingdom has come. Well, I did say there were three, didn't I? The third one is, someone else says, I will follow you, Lord, but first let me say farewell to those at my home, which seems a quite reasonable request, really, doesn't it? Jesus replies, no one who puts a hand to the plough and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God, which is a bit of a weird response, because not many of us have a great knowledge of farming, let alone ploughing in the old style when you're behind a team of oxen. But of course the idea is, if you look back too long to make sure that the furrow you've ploughed is straight, the way forward becomes crooked and goes out of shape very quickly. It might be easier for us to think of another analogy that the New Testament scholar Tom Wright mentioned. When you're singing a song, you don't reflect too long on the line you've just sung to think about whether you've sung it right, because you've got to concentrate on the next line and the next and the next. Now, that's not to say we should never reflect on what we do. We must do. But the way is forward. It's always forward. And just as Jesus is travelling, so are we. Yes, I know the journey image of life is a terrible cliche now, thanks to Britain's Got Talent and all the rest of them, but it's still a truth. Where are we being asked to travel, and who are we travelling with? For us in the church, it's trying to stumble along in the wake of this strange person, Jesus. For you, it may be different.